Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and Growing Older with Enthusiasm with our host, Dr. Ron Kaiser. Dr. Ron, how are you? And, we've been hearing these stories of how we're helping older adults, these people and services that are just blow us away of things that'll make older adults not stress, get healthier, and live a better and live a great life their final remaining years. That are going to be a lot of years. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions is your last quarter can be a very long quarter, couldn't it?
Absolutely. First of all, it's good to be with you again, Neil. Really looking forward to this conversation because it's part of our programming that we haven't talked about very much yet.
So our guest today is Alan Porter from Strategic Wealth Strategies. He is the financial guru in so many ways. I say I've learned things from a show I do, Strategic Wealth Strategies, with them when I've learned so much when it comes to how to save money on your taxes for retirement and not pay Uncle Sam, but take care of yourself in retirement for all the hard work you do by contributing and finding the right programs. And he's a guru that shows a different way. Isn't that true, Alan? I appreciate you stopping by and coming on Growing Older with Enthusiasm.
Sure. I mean, there's so many things that people don't understand. And Ron, I got into this business approximately 12 years ago as a financial advisor. I retired from the Army back in 1993. I was a Black Hawk instructor pilot, and I tell people I had a safe landing for every takeoff, and I dodged all bullets, had a great career. But I loved it. I had a passion for what I do. Um, and I never had a passion for anything until I became a financial advisor. And the reason is because I had some tragic things happen in my family. My son became 100% disabled. His wife died at 39 of pancreatic cancer. My daughter just recovered from a breast cancer, and I just had to put my brother this last spring into a nursing home. He's 5 years older than me and suffering from Alzheimer's. But I'm very passionate about what I do. I educate people. I'm outside the conventional financial planner because I tell people to think outside the box. There is so much for people that they do not know. And one of the things that I know for people in retirement, I'm 69. People in retirement, and it's a proven fact. They live a healthier life if they have guaranteed income. And I show them how to have guaranteed income for the rest of their life, the rest of their spouse life, and all kinds of things. And other than that, and saving taxes, because taxes just on Social Security and means testing for Medicare Part B is thousands of dollars per year, and people just can't afford it in retirement.
Well, absolutely. I know that that's a major problem. I think one of the problems is that most of us grew up thinking we weren't going to live as long as we wound up living. And for example, I'm 85. I know that the last time that I had term insurance, and then the last time that it was up for renewal, I think it would have cost more per month than it was costing for a year. So it became prohibitive. I
Exactly right.
obviously didn't do the best possible thing, or my wife would have been a whole lot wealthier if I died before her a
Yeah.
few years ago. But I'm wondering, just generally, when should people start thinking about this, and when is it too late to be able to use your services?
Well, it's never too late. I've got a client today, this evening, and he's introduced to me by a friend of mine, and he's 69 or 65 years old, and I'm showing him how to take his portfolio. He has approximately $750,000. In fact, Neil and I did a podcast on this last week. How to retire like a millionaire with 2/3 of your assets. And I'll give you a perfect example, real quick. Let's say that you have $1 million stock portfolio at a 4% distribution rate. That's $40,000 a year. And that used to be a reliable figure to last till age of 90. That's what conventional financial planners are telling people. Well, you've got a 60 to 70% chance of that failing. And now who's going to get on a plane with a 30 or 40% chance of failing? Nobody. But that figure now is down to 2.8%. But if you have a stock portfolio that goes up 6% net of fees at 6% compounding for 5 years, that $1 million is worth $1,388,000 or something.
Mhm.
Now at 4% distribution rate, that's 53,007, I believe. But if you have this into a fixed or fixed indexed annuity, with just no increase in the interest of the over the 5 years, you just have guarantees of that annuity. That figure would be $81,989, and that's guaranteed income you can have for the rest of your life.
Well,
And the reason they do this is because of mortality credits. Mortality credits are manufactured by insurance companies only. You cannot do it with stock and bond portfolio. You cannot do it with a real estate. You cannot do it with a savings account. Insurance companies, which are the highest regulated industry out there today, are the only ones that have mortality credits. You're covered if you die too soon with life insurance, but if you live too long with fixed indexed annuities that give you guaranteed income for life.
well, just so that we totally understand, for those of us who aren't in the insurance or financial planning industry, what is an annuity?
Well, people say, well, I don't like annuities. I said, well, do you receive a pension? Do you like your Social Security? Well, yeah. Well, they're annuities. I mean, it's just like when people win a lottery. It's not given to you. It'll be annuitized. And basically, annuity is guaranteed income. And you've got to have guaranteed income just to pay for the basics in life. And this was taught to me by Tom Hegna, one of the great PBS speaker. He's written several books. I do joint webinars with him. But like I said, it's been proven if you have guaranteed income, you live a more healthy and less stressful life, because you don't have to worry about the ups and downs of the market. Think about people that just have money in their stock market right now. They're pulling their hair out. Some of them lost 20%. Some of them with these big tech companies have lost up to 89% of the value of their products.
That's scary.
It's real scary.
Well, the other thing that when Neil introduced you, said about saving taxes, and not exactly sure how that happens. How can you help us save taxes?
Well, today we're in the lowest tax bracket we've been in about 70 years. And I'm going to give you a real quick Reader's Digest version. Right now, people in the 12% tax bracket, if they do not do anything different with our tax laws, people in the 12% tax bracket are going to 25% tax bracket. And that's January 1st, 2026. Very few CPAs tell their clients about this because maybe they don't even know. But here's the thing. If I can get your assets and convert them into a Roth or convert them to cash value life insurance, which cash value life insurance grows tax deferred, you get your money tax-free from distributions. It does not affect taxation of Social Security or the means testing for Medicare Part B. And a real quick Reader's Digest version, if you are married age 65 and make $44,000 a year outside provisional income, such as a pension, stock portfolio, real estate rentals, or whatever, and get $3,000 a month in Social Security, 85% of your Social Security is going to be taxed. And what that does, Doctor, it puts you in the 12% minimum tax bracket, 10.16 effective tax bracket. You're writing a check, provided taxes don't go up, for over $6,000 a year. And it also affects the means testing for Medicare Part B. Now, understand, Medicare Part B, I'm retired military. One of the promises they made to me was I would never have to pay for my Medicare. I put 21 years of service into the country, pay for my medical. So I had to file for Medicare at 65. But because of, and I have TRICARE for life with the military, but because of the means testing for Medicare Part B, I have to pay $6,000 a year for my health care. And I show people how to get away from that. Get income that does not affect taxation of Social Security or the means testing for Medicare Part B. And cash value life insurance does that. And I've got people that start cash value life insurance at age 65. I've got people started at 50. If you can start it in your 40s or 30s, that's absolutely excellent because you're the healthiest then. You're going to have the smallest premiums to build up that money for tax-free retirement. It's an amazing product that ought to be taught in high school, Doctor, but it's not. And your financial planners and advisors, CPAs, attorneys are not going to tell you about it because, number one, they're not educated on it. Number two, they're not licensed to sell it.
Well, I'd always learned that the best way to go about it is to buy term insurance and then invest the difference between that and life insurance. What it sounds like you're saying that's a fallacy. I'm wondering what's wrong with that idea.
Well, see, first off, all insurance is great. Okay. it protects the family, and both personally and professionally, my number one priority is protection of the family and protection of their assets. But Susie Orman and Dave Ramsey, they all spout out, buy term and invest the difference. Personally, and people that are educated and everybody has their opinion. That's the worst advice I could ever give anybody. Now understand, term insurance is very cheap. Cash value life insurance is more expensive, but as you said, you try to get some insurance at a later age, it's astronomically high. But if you buy term insurance and pay the premium on it up until life expectancy, you'll have almost the same amount of money in a term life insurance policy as you do in a cash value policy. And let's say it's $1,000 starting out, or $10,000 a year for a $500,000 death benefit. Well, if you live one day past life expectancy, there's no cash value in that term life insurance. And less than 2% of all term life insurance are ever paid out. But if you have a cash value life insurance policy, the death benefit may be $1.5 million that you can use 90% of that for long-term care completely tax-free. And you may have $800,000 or $900,000 in your cash value that you become your own bank. I show people how to become their own bank, pay themselves compound interest and not the financial institutions.
They're very, very interesting.
I wanted to jump for something now, Dr. Ron. Is it too late for Dr. Ron? He's 85 years old. I know you were thinking about that question. It's your birthday has come, right, Dr. Ron? You are now 85.
Oh, still a couple of weeks away.
Okay, I always want to celebrate the 85th. It's such an exciting time, and this guy has more energy sometimes than I do. I'm impressed by it, and it's how I want to live at 85. That's for and look at Alan. You're 69, right, Alan?
Right.
And your energy level is unbelievable. But my question is: it too late for Dr. Ron? Any services or programs for him with insurance and things like that at this point, or in savings and all that? Especially he's going to live to probably 110 the way I see Ron, or he's going to figure out something. He'll be on an astronaut at one point, the way this society and how we're biohacking everything.
Well, it all depends on the rating the insurance company gives you. You know, at your age, doctor, I can't tell you if you like to put $100,000 single pay into a policy, it may give you a $150,000 death benefit. That is something we'd have to talk about, submit it to the underwriters and see what they come up with. Because when you get above 80, things change a whole lot. And 85 is about the maximum of availability for these products. But there's things just like in your if you got a stock portfolio or things, savings accounts or whatever, we can put you in these products that's going to give you guaranteed income. I don't care if you live to 120. Your accumulation value may run out of these products, but you'll never run out of money. And I can show you how to get them tax-free. And that's one of the biggest things. I was one of the founding members of the American Tax Planning Institute. We specialize in tax planning, tax savings, asset protection, business exit strategies, charitable gifting, and estate planning. And some of the things that I talk to people about, I said, when you sell your business, would you want to have a tax deduction or pay capital gains tax on it? They all say, well, I want a tax deduction. How do you do that? I said, well, there's several different ways. But these are the things. I treat my business like a doctor. I ask question after question, and I expect those questions answered, because if I don't have those questions answered and I've come up with some feasibility study or some financial plan, it would be malpractice on my part. So I have a team of people that I work with, top CPAs, tax-specific attorneys, and specialists in other fields of finance that I collaborate with, and we come up with strategic financial solutions for people's problems, to include taxes and income.
Well, this is certainly a different way of thinking than I'm used to. So it's a lot to absorb at one time. So I'm just, my only question is, how do we find out more about this? How do we get in touch with you? Or are there things online or information that can help us sort some of this stuff out?
Well, they can always call me at 910-551-1046. Again, that's 910-551-1046. You can also look up Strategic Wealth Strategies on I am Alan Porter on LinkedIn. My email address is strategicwealth0@gmail.com. Again, that's strategicwealth0@gmail.com.
Great, great.
And to finish up, Dr. Ron, because again, I could talk to Alan for hours. I'm looking forward to, I'm going to be flying tonight, and I'm going to definitely bring, especially if I'm in airplane mode, your book with me to read, especially one about business owners. It's Alan's able to save business owners. So you have a successful business and you're a successful practice, because he really focuses on practices and doctors and everyone in the healthcare industry. That's his real niche, Alan, that he's able to figure out ways for them to be able to keep more money and save more money. And the thing is, the life products is what makes him different. What I've learned, Dr. Ron, from Alan, is Alan uses life products, which he's learned in this industry, with other good financial products, which I've learned more and more about Alan, combine them together and create the right plan and want you to finally win. One thing that Alan talks about, Ron, to finish up this, is what I've learned is, what happens if you retired in a specific year, you were ready to start receiving your money, and your stock portfolio went down 50% because of the market? And what is that called, Alan, where there's certain years, if you're looking to take out and the market is low, especially?
Okay, this is one thing that I find financial planners never tell their clients about. I think it's fiduciary responsibility. It's called sequence returns risk. Let's say that you're retiring off your stock portfolio, and you got a loss in the market, and not necessarily 50%, but you got a loss in the market the first 3 years when you start to retire, and compare that to the last 3 years of a 10-year period, your retirement's going to be decimated, because you're taking money out of a depleting asset and not putting anything back in to make it regain. But if it's in the last 3 years of a 10-year period, you've got this money building for 7 years instead of losing for 3 years and then building for 7 years. It's a huge difference. There's so many things that people need to understand. It's not about return of investment when it comes to retirement. It's about distribution of your assets. And I can show people how to take money from different buckets of retirement income and say, okay, this is a down year in the market. We're not going to take any money out of that bucket of money. We can take it out of this annuity, or we can take it out of this cash value life insurance plan, or we can take it what they call the home equity conversion mortgage. This is one of the greatest financial vehicles available out there, and people are not educated on it. We've got over $9 trillion of home equity that just sits there and it's not used. And this could be one of the greatest financial assets for people over 62 that's available out there, but they just need to be educated.
Well, it sounds like your book is a great place to start. So can you tell us the name of it again and where we can get it?
Okay, my book is called Wealth Beyond Taxes, and you can get it on Amazon. But contact me, and I'll send it to you free.
So that's a good way of saving some of your money. Great.
Yeah.
But he saves. I mean, as I said, I'll be definitely working with Alan very, very soon. I'm looking at, putting my portfolio together. I'm turning 50 in January 7th, so both of us are hitting some pretty milestone ages. Dr. Ron, me 50, you 85. And Alan at 1.70. It's just, again, it's all about how we live life and how we love life. And I appreciate you coming on, Alan, to bring this information to the platform, and especially to Dr. Ron's community, especially Growing Older with Enthusiasm and Rejuvenating. Because without money, we're going to feel stress. And without having money to enjoy our retirement, especially the most money we possibly can get, that's the big thing. And if you go back into his podcast, Strategic Wealth Strategies, you're going to see he breaks it down in PowerPoints, which is information, Dr. Ron, that not many people can bring out because they're not licensed to do it. And Alan is. So I appreciate it. Thanks again, Alan. And Dr. Ron, another great episode of Growing Older with Enthusiasm. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Thanks very much.
All right. This was great. Growing Older with Enthusiasm, guys. Take care.